folks, MBS again. Still working on this nice beautiful little LC XU1, and now we're going to be doing a tappet adjustment. Now this thing's got full roller rocker set, and we'll get into it and we'll choose a method that we want out of the 4 that are available for us to set tappets, different methods of positioning the camshaft. Now I'm going to be using the overlap method because that's a great method. It's less engine turning intensive. I only have to turn the engine over 6 times to do all 6 cylinders. So I could have used a top dead center method, that works as well, but I don't have the information at the moment which inlet valve to set, which exhaust valve to set in that scenario. It's on my website. I have that information for you. Or I could follow the rotor around, just follow the rotor button and point it at a terminal on the distributor cap and then set that cylinder. I could do that too. So there's various ways I could do it, but I would never use the ICEO method, you know, the inlet closed exhaust open method, where people believe that you've got to set the tappets when the nose, the lobe of the camshaft is furthest away from the lifter. That's bullshit. Oops, excuse the language, but it is. You have to turn the engine over 12 friggin' times to do that, and it's unnecessary. Alright, so overlap method is the one I'm going to use, and get the camera in here and see how it's all done. Okay, we are pretty close here. We've got the exhaust valve coming up to the closed position, which means the inlet valve is going to open very shortly, and that's going to be our overlap, and that's going to bring it up there. You might not see it on this camera because it's a crap camera and I can't get in close enough, but that is almost shut now. And then there we go, inlet valve looks like it might have just moved. Oh, there it is. And looking at the timing mark, I am well close to top dead center. You don't have to be perfect on this, guys. Within 10 or 20 degrees on the crankshaft pulley is more than adequate on the overlap method. If you've seen my 4 positioning methods and my explanation on camshafts, you will see that on the overlap method we have got a very broad angle range where we could position the camshaft and still be able to set our tappets. So we've got these 2 rocking. We're going to set number 6, and what I'm going to do is just draw up a quick firing order map for this. That's also on my website, and we'll cross them off one at a time as we do them, and that way we make sure we've completed them all. Alright, to work out where we are, since we're using the overlap, we need to know which other cylinder is on top dead center compression while the one that we've just put on overlap is set. Okay, so if we've just overlapped number 1, which one do we set the tappets on? Well, look, in this situation is so simple, isn't it? In a V8, something with more cylinders, it gets a little bit more tricky. Depending on the firing order of the engine, will depend how the crank is ground, and will depend which other cylinder is on top dead center. But we know 4 cylinder and 6 cylinders are a piece of cake. So we've got a 6 cylinder, divide that by 2 and you get 3. So every 3rd cylinder from the firing order is the one that's going to be on top dead center. So we go 1, 2, 3, 1 and 6, yeah? Alright, 5, 1, 2, 3 is 2. You don't even have to follow it anymore, you just keep going along until you do match them up. Alright, so that's our little map. We've got number 1 rocking. Now we're going to set 6, and when we set 6 we tick it off, and as we go along we'll eventually come to 6, and then we will go back and set number 1. Easy as that. Now that I've got 1 rocking, I'm going to set 6, but I'm going to do that off camera. I'll do number 2 on camera when I've got the next one rocking in the firing order, which is 5. So when 5 rocks, I'm going to set number 2. That's nice and close to the camera, and we'll show you how to do these Pozi-Loks. Alright, so we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we've set number 6, we'll tick him off, and next one in the rocking order was number 5, so we've got number 5 rocking, because what happened as soon as I started turning the engine, the exhaust valve was coming up. You could quite clearly see it lifting up, and as soon as I saw the inlet valve open, I stopped there. That's the overlap. Now we're on the base circle of the camshaft here. So we're going to, firstly, have to undo the lock. And they should be tight. And guys, you need a really top-notch quality set of Allen keys to do this, because if you buy El Cheapo crap, they will snap. Now, these will be all full of oil like they are right now. I already pre-cleaned them out a little bit, but if you've got a compressor and an air gun, I would put a rag over that, put the funnel down here and just go little squirt, just get rid of the oil out of there, eh? So you want your Allen key to have full contact in depth into that hole, because if you don't, you'll just round the corner of the Allen key off, eh? So now that you've got that all nice and clean and they're loose, what we'll do now is we'll back off the adjuster and we will count how many turns that takes to back it off. So there's half, so it looks like these rockers are being turned down to a half, so we'll go 3/4, and we have got slack. Okay, I can actually lift the rocker up and down. So you can virtually do this by hand, guys. Just turn them by hand and there's your zero lash. Okay, I can't move it. Now, one thing you've got to check, of course, the hydraulic lifters should be pumped up with oil, yeah? The only reason they'll be down is if a lot of these valves would have been on the lobe, and that would have pushed the hydraulic lifter down and created an air gap in there, and you may find they could be spongy. So you just want to make sure they're not spongy, okay? That you can't push the push rod into the hydraulic lifter. If you can, then you have to be a little bit more careful when you turn these down. Now, doing them by finger, you should not actually push those push rods into the hydraulic lifter unless they're brand spanking new and haven't been pre-primed. You may then find that it'll be quite easy to push that push rod down and you won't get zero lash accurately. So here we go, we've got zero lash, they're nice and tight, they're not pushed down. From there I am going to go 3/4 of a turn on this, and that's just quite simply half, and I didn't back the Allen key off enough there, okay, to go down 3/4. So we'll just back the Allen key off and then we'll go our quarter. I better just make sure that one is backed off enough, and we've got to go 1/4 more here. Okay, that's 3/4 of a turn down. That's it. Now what you've got to do is lock off that Allen key, alright, and at the same time hold the nylock steady while that's being tightened, yeah? Look, don't get too carried away if while you're tightening it this moves another 1/8 of a turn. Nah, big deal. It doesn't matter. Alright, 3/4 of a turn is a good baseline figure. Some people might go a half. I mean, some racers might even go a 1/4 because they don't like the anti-pump up. If it pumps up on them, then the valves aren't held open as wide when you get that gap clearance and your valves held open. So the further you do your hydraulic lifter down, push the push rod down into the hydraulic lifter, you do leave yourself open for pump up. That's like when you get up to 6,500, if your lifter can't handle it or the spring pressures aren't right, you will get valve float. Next thing you know, boom, you run out of compression because the valves are held open because the lifter is hydraulic locked, and you have to wait for the lifters to bleed down. Alright, so 3/4 of a turn is what I've always done, half to 3/4, okay? So that gives you about a little bit over a mil of the push rod being pushed down into the hydraulic lifter. Some of the really old school manuals that you'll see, they tell you to make sure the lifter is compressed down about half of its length. That's getting close to 2 mil. That's okay too, that'll work. If you want to do rocker geometry adjustments, for instance, if this had 40 thou shaved off the head, I would turn this bolt down probably another half a turn to get an extra mil compression on the push rod down into the lifter. That would take the push rod down into the lifter about 2.5 mil, which is still okay. The limit on these hydraulic lifters will be around about 3.5, 4 mil, and you don't want to get them down that deep. Alright, enough of the carrying on. Let's tighten this sucker up. Tight as we can get it. Now there's better tools than what I'm using right now, guys. This is the poor man's way of doing it. The interlocking spanners. You can do yourself an injury there if that slips, but I think we'll be right. There we go. And number 2 is set. Okay, so we tick number 2 off. Next one to rock, number 3. Alright, so I wish I could get the camera in. This is a horrible new camera I got. I think I'm going to go back to my old camera. I can zoom right in on that one, but this one, it's only 1 meter away, guys, and that's fully zoomed in. Terrible. Okay, what are we looking for? Number 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to see this valve here coming up, and we're looking for that one going down. There it is, coming up, and we sit. There we go. As soon as we see the inlet going down, we've rocked number 3. According to my little map here, we are going to set number 4. Yeah, okay. Look, I'm not going to do all 6 for you on video. That would just take too long. You've seen me do number 2 and how I go about rocking, getting the rocker set up. And I think that would suffice for you to do all of them yourself. Now remember, if you've never done this before, there's that little drawing I did of your firing order and then connecting them together so you know which other cylinder is on top dead center, so you know which cylinders to set. Quite easy. And there's more on my website, guys. If you go to www.mbs.id.au, that's my website, and not everything's on YouTube, because there's a lot of written articles there that don't have accompanying video. So there's a lot of information there that I've put together since I think I started that way back in 2000. So I've done a fair bit of work there. Haven't done much lately, but hey. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Working on Pozi-Loks, how to lock them up and how to undo them, and how to set your tappet hydraulic lifter. And in this case we set it at 3/4 of a turn. Normally I go half, but over the years I've tightened that up, sequence up a little bit because of rocker geometry. I probably could have gone down to a turn easily and corrected the geometry a little bit more. But yeah, it's a complex subject. Not many people understand how hydraulic lifters work and how rocker geometry is affected by how you adjust your hydraulic lifter. And it all ties in together, and I think if you go through my website you'll see it all. Eventually you'll be able to piece everything together and go, ah yeah, I see what's going on. Alright, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in another video. I hope you got something out of this video. You know, I have much more information on all sorts of topics that are not on my YouTube channel. You're welcome to visit my site at the address shown on screen and have a look around. Thank you.